This video is for problem number 11 from section 3A through C. And I'm going to do the version of the problem that appears in the homework key that I put on Blackboard. I'll tell you right away, this problem is a beast. It is probably the most complicated problem we've done up to this point. But I'll try to walk through it carefully here. But certainly, let me know if you have any questions even after watching this video. So, taking this one piece at a time, it says on January 1st, an insurance company has $85,000 which is due to Lyndon as a life insurance death benefit. He chooses to receive the benefit annually over a period of 18 years with the first payment immediately. The benefit he receives is based on an effective interest rate of 8.5% per annum. Okay, so that by itself, I don't even need to read any further. That by itself gives us enough information to start calculating a few things. So what I'm going to do is find Lyndon's payments. How much is getting paid to him? Okay, so basically he is owed $85,000. He elects to take this as an annuity, which pays annually over the course of 18 years. We don't know what the payments are. It doesn't say that tell us anywhere what the payments are, so let's just call them P. 85,000 is the present value, so I'm going to use A, and he's going to take the first payment immediately. So this is an annuity due. So I have A double dots. We have 18 payments and 6.5% per annum. Okay. So that tells us that okay, I have an annuity due, and I would rather not work with an annuity due if I can avoid it. So I'm going to convert it to an actual annuity immediate by pulling out a 1.065. That leaves me with A, 18, 6.5%. And now I can solve for P just by dividing 85,000 by 1.065 and also dividing by A, 18, 6.5%. I'm confident you can all do that calculation. If you have any issues with it, though, certainly feel free to come by my office and ask. But you should be able to get that P is equal to 7650.37. So basically, Lyndon is going to elect to receive these payments, 18 payments in this amount. If you notice, that actually totals up to more than 85,000, but that makes sense because he's basically earning 6.5% on whatever hasn't been paid out to him at any given moment. Okay, so now we want to take a look at the insurance company. They're paying Lyndon 7.5% per year on this benefit, but that's fine because they are actually earning, they have the money invested themselves, and they're earning 7% per annum. So they're going to make a little bit of money on this as well while they're holding the money for Lyndon. However, every year, in the middle of the year, they have to pay a $140 in expenses to maintain the policy. At the end of 8 years, we want to know what the company has remaining. Okay, so here's the really complicated part, and here's where we really need to draw a time diagram. So initially, at time 0, this insurance company is holding $85,000 of Lyndon's. So let me put that in present value. All of the other transactions that they make are going to be money that they are paying out. So we know that they have to make annual payments to Lyndon in the amount of P. So let me just, so I don't have to keep writing that 7,650.37 over and over again, let me put P here. And maybe I'll just put minus P to indicate that that's money getting paid out. Well, they're going to make that payment year after year. 1, 2, 3, and so on. And I want to know the balance of the account at time 8. So let me run this time diagram on out to time 8. We won't need it to go any further than that. Okay, so the payments the company makes to Lyndon look like this. There's no payment at time 8 because all of the payments occur at the beginning. Actually, wait. There would be a payment at the beginning of the 9th year. This is kind of tricky. At the end of the 8th year, there's not a payment. So you can kind of think right here, there is no payment. There would be a payment kind of on the other side of t equals 8. But we're looking at the end of the 8th year, so we imagine that the payment for the 8th year happened at the beginning of the year. So we don't actually look at the payment at t equals 8. Okay, so essentially we are assuming that we are looking at the balance immediately before that payment is made out to Linden. Okay, so on top of that though, on top of these payments that are getting made to Linden, in the middle of each year, the company also has to pay out these expenses for maintaining the policy. So at time 1/2, they have to pay out $140. Let me actually write that slightly below. At time 1/2, they have to pay out $140. At time 1.5, they have to pay out $140. So on and so forth. Okay. So take a minute and kind of digest that, process that picture, and then we'll see if we can set up an equation of value to find the balance at time 8. We haven't really talked about this yet. We'll talk about it in more depth later. So, okay, so the balance at time 8 is equal to x. So we want to calculate x. X is, this B8 is a notation we're going to use later in chapter 6 when we talk about, amortization. But B8 just means the balance at time 8. Okay, so to see how to construct this, okay, the loan is not paid off. The company has not completely paid off the insurance benefit to Linden at this time, so they're going to still have some money left over. First off, assume that they have not made any payments to Linden whatsoever, and they have not had to pay any of the expenses, the maintenance fees. If the company has not made out any payments whatsoever, then they have the $85,000 at time 0, and that's simply going to accumulate interest at 7% for 8 years. That would be the balance at time 8 if they had not had to pay anything out. Okay, so that's simple enough. However, this is not the scenario. They do have to make payments. In particular, they have to make payments to Linden of P at the beginning of each year. So the amount that we knock off is going to be the accumulated value of all of these payments. So I'm going to subtract off P, S, double dots, because the payments happen at the beginning of the year. At this point, there will have been 8 of those payments made. And this is the company is earning 7%, so I need to evaluate this at 7%. Okay. So that is the amount that the balance will have been reduced by making these payments out to Linden. So I can basically take the accumulated value of them at 7%, knock that off of the hypothetical accumulated value of the initial balance. Okay, well, I know that's a little tricky, so kind of think about that and let me know if you have any questions. But if you understand that, the next part is easier. Now I need to take the accumulated value of the payments of 140. So these are going to reduce the overall balance. So I'm going to put minus 140. I'm accumulating these forward, so I'm going to use an S. So let's see. There are 8 of these payments, 1 in each year through years 1 through 8. So from time 0.5 to 7.5, there are a total of 8 payments. So I'm going to do 140 S8, 7%. Now remember, this S construction without the dots always evaluates, it accumulates the payments up to the time of the last payment. That's always true. S always accumulates up to the time of the last payment. That is 1/2 of a year prior to time 8, which is where we're interested in. So I need to take this accumulated balance of all of these maintenance fees and accumulate it forward another 1/2 of a year. Okay, well, if you are able to, if you get all of that, then the answer from here is we can just straight up calculate it because there are no variables left in here. I have this P, but we already know what P is. It's 7650.37. And so go ahead and run all that through the calculator and make sure you get the correct answer, which in this case, well, give me a second and I'll write it down. The correct answer in this case is 60,574.3544. That's the balance. That's how much money the insurance company is still holding of Linden's at time 8. Okay, and so the basic principle behind this problem is that if you have a starting balance in the account and payments are being made out of the account, if you want to know the remaining balance at any particular time, you just take your starting balance, accumulate it forward to the relevant time, but then also knock off the accumulated value of all of your payments. What makes this problem particularly tricky is that there are two sets of payments that I have to knock off here, the payments to Linden plus the maintenance fees. But then also the maintenance fees happen, in the middle of the year, so I have to accumulate forward by an additional 1/2 of a year right at the end of the problem. Okay, well, hopefully that made sense. If not, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks.